Here I go, here I go, here I go. Yeah, here I go, here I go, here I go.
Before we get into today's episode of the pod, you guys have to subscribe because I'm looking at you and you're not subscribed to the channel yet. And you have to hit the notification bell because you're not going to know when I post if you don't have notifications when I post. Make sure to like the video, you guys, so I know you guys are enjoying these episodes. Make sure to follow my social medias. I will pop them on the screen so you can stay up to date with everything to do with this podcast. And then don't forget to check out the Spotify version. The link will be in the description for that as well. Finally, I am a sports writer, so make sure to check out the take.sport.blog so you can read the best sports articles ever. You will not regret clicking that link, so make sure to click that link below. But let's go ahead and get into today's pod, you guys. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Take Podcast. I am your host, Jackson Burleson, of course, and in today's episode, we've got to start out with the MLB All-Star Game and the MLB Home Run Derby. That took place this past week, and also it is the middle of the MLB season. The Braves currently hold first place in the MLB, followed by the Tampa Bay Rays, so it's going to be very interesting to see the end of the year because you don't really know until the end of July and August on what kind of performances you're going to see from these teams. Because teams who are hot during the summertime are not always hot during the regular season or postseason, excuse me. And we just need to look at it from a bigger picture, from a bigger standpoint. There's a lot of things about this year that have really questioned me about, for example, the New York Mets, how they've spent the most amount of money in Major League history to put a team on the field, and they aren't even winning their division. They are sitting fourth place in the division behind the Philadelphia Phillies, who also the Philadelphia Phillies were supposed to be way better than they have been this past season. Bryce Harper, he hasn't been as great, and the acquisition of Trey Turner this past offseason doesn't seem to be helping them that much. I mean, the Phillies finished second place in their division last year and made it all the way to the World Series. Is that the same World Series team? Are we going to get that World Series team this season? And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when it comes closer to playoff time. Will the Yankees make the postseason? Aaron Judge has been out with an injury for quite some time. Will he make a comeback? And will he be the same when he comes back? Also, the Diamondbacks. Corbin Carroll. He has been batting .289 with 48 RBIs as a rookie. He is National League Rookie of the Year, hands down. There's nothing you can say bad about this guy. His swing is beautiful. He always gets base hits. He's not a power hitter, but he can always hit it in play, and that's all you need when it comes to the game of baseball. And then for my Chicago Cubs, we need to kind of talk about them as well. Dansby Swanson is out with an injury. He is on a 10-day IL. I'm sure we're going to be getting him back at some point before the end of this month. And then we have Cody Bellinger, who has been playing unbelievable in the month of July. He's batting .429 this month after coming back from an IL as well. So let's see if the Cubs can stay healthy. Marcus Stroman's been an all-star. So let's kind of see, towards the end of the year, what's going to happen here. But we obviously have to address the elephant in the room first, the home run derby of the Baltimore Orioles, Adley Rutschman. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, but this dude, okay, he was hitting home runs, right? Just to give you guys a picture of what kind of happened. He was hitting home runs, and then he kind of wasn't in rhythm. And he hit a couple of 400-plus feet home runs. So whenever that happens in the home run derby, you get bonus time. And his bonus time was a minute. And he switched stances. So he was standing on the left side of the plate, and then he goes to the right side of the plate and hits 7 out of 8 pitches as home runs. 7 pitches were home runs out of 8. That's insane. He went on a nasty run. And then we got to talk about Randy Orenzino, who has been impressive on the Tampa Bay Rays this year. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his
name again, excuse me. He hit 35 homers in the second round of the Final Four and did not win the home run derby. But who did win the home run derby was quite a surprise to me. I really thought Pete Alonso was going to win the home run derby, but that was not the case. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. became the first son of a former home run derby winner champ, as his father, Vladimir Guerrero, won it back in 2007. That is an accomplishment itself. You got to give it up for the man. He was going against one of the best hitters in baseball, in Arozarena. I think I got his name right that time, guys, but I mean, we love the home run derby as baseball fans. Love it. It's my favorite part. But let's gonna kind of shift it over to the All-Star game. The National League won the All-Star game for the first time since 2012. That is 11 years since the last time they won an All-Star game. Guys, that is insane. Like, that is a streak. That's one of the longest losing streaks in the history of all-star sports. Like, usually in the NBA, Western Eastern Conference, when they used to do it that way before they start drafting, they used to kind of go back and forth. The West was kind of more powerful, but the East would get one then and there. And then when it came to hockey, that's not really the same case either. But baseball, that is crazy. Like, if you think about it, in 2012, Derek Jeter was still in the MLB. He was still in the Yankees. He was still in the Pinstripes. Like, that should give you some perspective, because Derek Jeter has been an owner of the Marlins, who, by the way, have won 53 games this year and are second in their division. That is a great accomplishment, and the Marlins have struggled for years to get over 500. And it looks like this year they're finally going to make that push. They're finally going to make that jump into the postseason. And Miami baseball fans, they want that. They have desperately been craving that for years. And now it's finally about to become a reality. Like, Miami Marlins fans, tune in. Tune in. They have great pitching, and they also have a stud who can steal bases like no other. He stole a base in the All-Star game. I think you guys know what I'm talking about here. I will pop the clip on the screen for you guys just to kind of see how close of a call this truly was. Like, this was a really, really close call. Like, you've got to understand, like, the umpire's got to be confident. He's got to be able to make that call right away. In confidence, he goes safe. And then they look at the replay monitor and they see that the guy got the glove right there. And boom, he's out. Just like that. And it's good for umpires to get that practice, because you want those umpires to be on point when it comes to playoff time. And especially in the World Series, because you do not want them missing crucial calls like that that can really alter the outcome of a game. But let's go ahead and talk about, speaking of a guy who does steal bases a lot and has made a huge impact on the Cincinnati Reds, leading the National League Central. For the first time in years, they have not been able to do this. But Ellie De La Cruz, in only 30 games as a rookie, is batting .325 with 16 RBIs and has been a stud in only 30 games. 30 games. And the Reds have 50 wins. This is the best of the Reds have been in a decade, I want to say. Like, they still have Joey Votto. He's old, but they haven't been good since Joey Votto was young. So it's been a minute. But the National League Central, at the bottom of the barrel, you got the Cardinals, which, thank goodness, I'm a Cubs fan. I do not like the Cardinals. I hate the Cardinals, actually. That's a little bit of a better word for it. And they picked up Wilson Contreras. They stole our catcher. They stole our catcher for whatever reason. But I'm still very upset about that, guys. I'm so upset that we couldn't keep Wilson Contreras. And now my Cubbies sit 5 games below 500, within striking distance, with a pitcher in Marcus Stroman who has been an all-star stud. He is 9-6 this year on the season. He has been amazing this year. He has 98 strikeouts and a 2.98 ERA. 9 wins. That's tied for 8th in Major League Baseball. Like, fantastic improvement. Like, the first couple of years, he was trash. This year, Different story. Last season, Marcus Stroman won 6 games, and his ERA was a 3.58. Not great. He has made drastic improvements. Drastic improvements. And actually, I got the number. 119 strikeouts last season. And he's already at 98 midway through the season. So he stays healthy. He's going to reach that mark. Cody Bellinger, he's also missed 31 games this season, missing the end of May and the beginning of June. But ever since he's come back in the month of July, like I said earlier, guys, he is batting .471 with 2 home runs. That is why we signed him for 1 year, $17 million, for that specific reason. And Dansby Swanson, he'll be all right. He'll be back after the All-Star break, and then the Cubs will be ready to roll. We'll be ready to roll. Like, I am confident. I said this at the beginning of the year, and I said this in my last baseball podcast I did, but the Cubs are going to make the playoffs this year. And I think we have a chance to win a World Series. We have the talent. We have the talent. Can we stay healthy? That's the big question. That's the big question. There's no lack of talent. There's no lack of talent there. But I got to address something before I end this pod, you guys. Two things, actually. Can the Mets turn their season around? Can they do it? Is it possible with Verlander, Scherzer, Lindor, all these high-paid players that they do have, with the highest payroll in the history of the Major League Baseball, in the history of the game? They have the most paid roster ever. It's like they spent $500 million on this team. And you're telling me they don't win? Please. Like, come on. Like, I wrote an article, and honestly, I regret writing it. But I said the Mets were going to win the World Series this year. And they're definitely letting me down. It's because they can't stay healthy. And they're inconsistent. There will be games where they have flashes. Then there'll be games where they play like garbage. And don't live up to any of the potential at all. And they've been really pulling money out of the bank here the last 2 years. Last season as well. It wasn't just this year. It was last season as well. Can they really handle that pressure? And I just don't think they can. I don't think they can. And a team who's continued to show that they know how to handle the pressure is the Atlanta Braves. Every year, they lose someone. They lost Freddie Freeman. They win 100 games. Like, there's no telling. Ronald Acuna Jr. This man is a stud. 41 stolen bases. Has been unbelievable. Was not healthy for that World Series run a few years ago. And now you're telling me he's back? They got a chance. I don't want to jinx it, but they got a chance. Best record in MLB right now. And the Rays, they've cooled off after a hot start. They were undefeated for a little bit, for about 21 games. They were on fire for a while at the beginning of the season. But they've cooled off. They've came back to reality. And the Rays are a good team. I think they need to kind of ease off the gas pedal a little bit, pace themselves into the playoffs, and be ready for go time. Because they got a chance to win a World Series as well. It's going to be very interesting come playoff time. And you better believe I'm going to be watching every single game of the MLB postseason. Because it's going to be insane. It's going to be crazy. But I appreciate you guys tuning in to today's episode of the Take Podcast. I hope you guys enjoy these episodes. Make sure to go check out the Spotify version as well. And go check out my last 2 articles that I dropped on the NBA in-season tournament. And as well as Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou preview. That's going to be a heck of a fight. And also tune in for UFC/Boxing Talk number 4. I'm going to be dropping that sometime next week. So make sure to keep your eye out for that. It's going to be a heck of an episode. I got a special guest joining me for that. I will not spoil the surprise for you guys, but make sure to go tune in for that. But I'm your host, Jackson Burleson, of course, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Railway paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my heart up on ice.